Okay, you know I have been experimenting with Creative Studio 7 for quite a while. I'm running 7.1, and I have a small quilt on the frame. It has 3 blocks across and 3 blocks down. I've quilted all of these in these sashings, and I hand stippled inside of these blocks around applique that I did not want to stitch over. One of the features I like is once I select the draw boundary, I can click all of my boundaries without having to click that boundary tool again. So I'll select draw boundary, click select. Now my next click, I'm going to start drawing the boundaries, and here you can see this middle one says close the drawing. Okay, close the drawing. So I'll click in this first boundary, and when I click all these points in and I click to close the drawing, you can see the next thing down, it says in that lower bottom, it says exit drawing. Well, if I don't click exit drawing and I just go to my next boundary and use the lower right button and start clicking a boundary, I can click all of these boundaries without exiting out of that draw boundary tool. And that comes in handy because before in Creative Studio versions we had to end the boundary drawing, and then we had to get the boundary tool again if we had more than one boundary to draw in an area. So this is pretty handy to do this. So I'm drawing my fourth little sashing boundary here. Not perfectly square. Now I can come down and just click the points in for the sashing that's in between the rows of blocks, and again I don't need to close out this tool until I'm finished with all of the boundaries, and that's pretty handy. So I like that, but you know, I know that many have not updated or have not gone to the version 7, and that's okay. So now I click to stop that boundary, and it says exit drawing. Well, if I click that lower center button again, now I'm out of the drawing the boundary. So I have all my boundaries drawn in. Now I'm going to use another tool, and it's a drawing tool. So here we have draw line, draw arc, and all of these. Okay, you can draw freehand, draw repeat patterns here. So I'm going to select this one, which is draw line, and I'm going to put in a line in about the center of this boundary, top to bottom. Then I'm going to go over to the next one, put a line in, See, all four of these, I'll put these lines in. And that way I'm going to use apply. I'll exit my drawing now by pressing the lower center, exit to drawing, and I'll just go over to my screen, and I have my pattern selected. I'll select this first line, right click and apply pattern. I'm going to go ahead and delete that line. Go to the next one, select the line, click, apply pattern, delete the line. Okay, right click. Come on, give it to me. Apply pattern, delete it. Now I have all my patterns in there, and I will have to adjust those. But before I do that, I'm going to go down here and put my patterns in this next long sashing that separates the blocks. So we'll see. I'm just going to measure that, and then I'll let Creative Studio do this. Now I could, and I may do this. I'll go ahead and I think what I'm going to do is get my line, draw a line, and I'm going to do it that way. But I'll have to make some adjustments. And I'm just going to go along and try to get this stay along in the center of that sashing, and I'll just see how this turns out, how this works. So if I select my line and right click and apply the pattern, let's see if it's going to work. Okay, there it is. It applied the pattern, and you know, this kind of I believe this works very well, that I don't have to go back, and don't look like I'll need much adjustment to this. I'll have to bring this down some. What I'll do is I'll select this line and get rid of it, delete it. Then I'll go and do all of my adjustments of all of these patterns and stitch them out.